All right, welcome to MazzaMedia. We are live. It is Tuesday night. It is April 28th, 2026, and today Kelsey Fitzsimmons was in court against Justin Land in another hearing, essentially another day in court, essentially, to discuss, child custody. Basically, that's what's been going on now. That's kind of taken the forefront. The criminal aspect of it is behind us now, thankfully, and now it's moving on to really the biggest piece of the puzzle, which is child custody. The law girls, not attorneys, were in Lawrence today. Justice Serves Michael Bryant was also in Lawrence today to cover what was happening. Law Girls Not Attorneys was actually in the courtroom with a live stream that was feeding to the YouTube, to the internet, for all to see. Thankful for them to make that trip. They make a pretty long trip up to Lawrence. Not an easy ride. I think it's about an hour and a half or more for them, perhaps. So it's good to see that these people are dedicated to their craft. I appreciate their coverage, and we'll play some footage of that tonight on the show as we move forward here. So joining us tonight will be Mullen Law, Lori Mullen, and Lauren from Common Sense Investigator. They are still going to be joining us in a little bit. The Boston Celtics are up 16-15 right now. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, don't worry about it. I got the Celtics on. I also have a Ghostbusters shirt on underneath here. Where is it? Up. Stand up. Stand up a little bit. This way. Ghostbusters! Right there. I'm rocking a Ghostbusters shirt underneath my shirt tonight. I got a couple of Ghostbusters shirts. I'm a big fan. And usually when I'm wearing a black shirt, which I don't usually do these days because of the black background, it kind of looks like I'm a talking head a little bit. So, but yeah, I got my, a movie reference. Exactly, Emily. We got our first movie reference of the night already taken care of. There may be a MazzaMedia Movie of the Year show coming up soon, where I basically go from every year from 1968 up to about 2025 and name what I believe is the best movie from every single year. I have a list already done a year or two ago. I might finesse it a little bit and actually do a live show. But joining the show is attorney Lori Mullen. How are you tonight?
Hey, how you doing, Mazza? Hello, everyone.
I'm doing great tonight. Sure. It's getting warmer out.
Great
Kelsey
day
Fitzsimmons. Yes, absolutely. And Kelsey Fitzsimmons' criminal, time in court is behind her, and now we're getting down to what we've all been really waiting for is the custody battle in family court, which took place today. You were there or not there today?
I wasn't there today. I did watch it. A little bit behind, but I did watch it live streamed. I was over on Justice Serve TV, and they were having some technical difficulties. And then I switched over to Melanie Little's feed. I missed some of it, and I did go back. I did listen to all of it, though, before tonight. So,
absolutely.
So I am ready. I'm ready to go. I'm ready for the questions. I'm ready for it.
Absolutely.
I'm all caffeined up too. In case you
that's good. I got seltzer water tonight, caffeine free.
Nice.
It is cranberry lime. I've been switching between pink apple and lemon, and I'm always drinking seltzer water. But yeah, caffeinated. You're well caffeinated. I know you couldn't make the fundraiser, but even though you were not there, you were there in spirit with us because that $50,000, you were a participant in numerous ones. Yeah, thank you, Lori, for that.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you. I mean, it's so great. I am so overwhelmed by all the continued support in this case because, it's been a while and there's so much that's going on. And I really thought that after they're not guilty, it would kind of fall off. But it's, for you to get that kind of a number on Sunday, I'm so proud of everybody. I'm proud of you, Mazza, for sticking with it. And everybody sees that it's not over until she has like complete reunification with Caidyn. This isn't over because that was the main goal. That's always been the main goal from day one, before the criminal trial. And hopefully we're seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. But this is costing her like a mini fortune. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, you're so right. And the fundraising peaked during trial. We had a show that did 11,000 and 11,000 in funds raised, one that did 7,000. Now, 4,000 is outstanding, obviously,
Right.
but it's just usually these stories, even with, look at the Karen Reed case, the fundraising always peaked during, trial time or just leading up to the trial. And then afterwards, usually it has that come down with momentum. It's like anything. The momentum and the interest usually peaks. You have the people that are here today joining the show that are your everyday followers of this story. But then you have others that have particular interest in cases as they kind of are at their peak and storyline wise.
And then they fall off a bit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
but if I can just say, Mazza, because I know you won't say this because you're way too humble, but I really feel like Sunday night, the push on Sunday was all about Mazza. It was like, let's get Mazza to 50,000. It was like, I know we're here for Kelsey, but like, look at how much Mazza has done. Can we get Mazza to 50,000?
Yeah.
And then people were like, Mazza. And that's what ended up doing it. Yeah. Whatever works is fine with me. I mean, that's great.
That was the first self-centered, selfish fundraiser I've ever done in my life.
You're like, do it for me.
Yeah. Where I was like, I will stay online all day. And it went 5 hours. And honestly, during the third hour, the donations were slowing. The third hour was the slowest hour.
Yes.
And the first 2 hours had great donations. But when you look at the pacing, you want about 1,000 an hour to get there within about 4. So I was looking at it during the third hour. I'm like, oh my God, we're going to be stuck like at $2,020 to go or in. And I go, we may not hit it. Then all of a sudden there was a donation that came in. I think it was from a lady named Karen.
Yeah.
And she donated like $150. Then I'm like, we're $989 away. And literally the next half an hour, it was just boom, 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 all the way down.
That's the end. I caught that last because I was driving back from Vermont, and by the time I got back and settled in, I caught that like last 45 minutes of the show, and I was like, "Come on, guys, let's do it for Mazza." And it ended up happening. Hi, Lauren.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, I'm late.
That's okay. Better late than never. 7 minutes is not bad. It's pretty much on time.
I was running from work, so
that's all right. Yeah. Yeah, we planned on doing 7, but just to serve was on. Plus, Lauren had to, Lauren has a tight window on evening time, so we didn't want to go too early for her as well.
Great.
So
it gives people a chance to come home from work, have dinner, settle in, and then put the headphones in and,
Yeah, I had to mow the lawn and have dinner and all that stuff. I actually shaved today. No, I've been scruffy lately.
Looking as handsome as ever, Mazza.
Thank you so much. But Sunday was the first time I've ever done a fundraiser where I had like an absolute dollar that I felt like I had to hit. And I was like, I don't want to I want the 50,000 so bad. I'm here. It's Sunday. I got nothing to do all day but watch sports. The Celtics weren't on until 7. I'm like, let's just hit this at all costs. And I just can't thank everybody enough who donated. I was one of the donors as well. I actually led off. Lead off hit. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Gotta do this. And honestly, you ended up crushing it. You went way over the 50.
Yes.
We did. 500 something over. Yeah. And I think another donation came in after for like another $25, but I didn't count it, but I might do it later. We'll see.
You should count it. Nobody's looking. We're not looking.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, you never know. Like you do these fundraisers, and a lot of times what happens is people watch it on replay, or they're like 30 minutes or more behind. And then they're like, the show will end. And then there'll be a part of the show where they can see like the hype is kind of brewing with the donations. And they'll donate then. But the show has actually been off air for like 2 hours. So a lot of times you have to go back and say, okay, let's double check this some more and make sure things are good. But I got to say thank you to both of you for the time you put on the shows as well for these fundraisers. And then trial week as well. We were busy on trial week, and both of you were on, I think, 3 or 4 episodes that week, perhaps, which was great.
We had 4 days of trial, and I think the 4th day we took a break.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we took the break on the 4th day. I think we recapped like the next day, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
We did every day though. I mean, we definitely hit it every day, which was a good way to do it actually, because it was so fresh in our minds to kind of do the daily recap.
Right.
Especially when you get old like me, it's good to hit it when it's really fresh on the memory like today.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it's tougher to recap an entire trial, like 4-day trial at the very end, and try to remember every little detail. We're day in and day out. okay, a daily recap. But even then, a lot of times we don't even hit on all the subject matter. It's always that top tier stuff, like Michelle there with her legendary facial expression on the stand that we'll all never forget. The face that we all love.
Oh, yeah, Michelle.
Bringing her up. I mean, she was part of the filings that Julie had made in Kelsey's case yesterday. I guess her deposition has been taken, and we got to see a few pages of that. And it basically was a whole lot of like, as soon as she got pushed on some of the issues, well, I don't really know. And I'm not really sure if that happened. And I think maybe this, that, or the other. And I'm not sure how someone would pull my hair if they were sitting on a step. And I'm not sure whose hair got pulled. And like, okay, so that was very non-informative. So that was interesting to see that. I'd love to get my hands on that entire transcript, really.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think I ever will, but one can dream.
And it's you sit there today and it's like another day, more court.
Yep.
And it's kind of like watching a football game. You kind of move down the field with the ball, and eventually you get that ball in the end zone. And Kelsey, dating back to last June, it's been a long drive, and her poems and articles are coming out on Substack. And there's imagery, the AI imagery she's using, really, to me, I wouldn't say it exaggerates it, but it kind of shows almost the internal dwellings that Kelsey went through, and just the hard fight, being in jail. A photo of her with the baby was in that AI image, and it's just, this woman has been through absolute hell, and in life, and I said this in a conversation with one of her family members when we spoke between the final closing arguments and the verdict. I said, it's one thing for us as streamers and supporters to help you guys, but it all starts with the families. Karen Reed's family, Kelsey's family, these family members were always out there believing and fighting. And I think a lot of times these stories don't catch fire unless you have the family, and then of course the main person, the Karens and the Kelseys of these stories, that just are hell-bent on winning and fighting a fight essentially blindly. And by blindly, I mean really believing that, at least initially, that there is no support, there is no backing, there is nobody to help you, there is nobody to fight for you in person, online, there is nobody to fundraise for you, there is no way anything could happen. And I'll just say this. I don't know if I'm permitted to say it, but I'm going to say it. I don't think it's too big of a deal to say. But, there was questions about whether or not the GiveSendGo was initially going to be added, and ultimately turned out to be a great decision. And I would say to anybody, always have a GiveSendGo. Always have a GiveSendGo ready, because
what's the worst thing that can happen?
That's right. Even if it's like,
and you're right about that, Mazza, because I know, from speaking to Meredith, who is the one that started the GiveSendGo.
Yeah.
Initially, Kelsey was all like against. She was like, nobody's going to want to donate to that. I don't know if I want that or whatever. And then because it's not just about the dollars that are coming in, it's about the recognition and the overall, support that you gain from just doing these shows and whatnot. And it just gains momentum. And it's a reason to do the show, right? So you got the GiveSendGo, going to do the show. We're going to have the fundraiser. And in the beginning, it might not start out like much, but then it kind of just snowballs and turns into what this movement has turned into, which is now, I think, over 22,000 followers on Facebook. We've had a lot of support on these fundraisers, thanks to you, Mazza. And then you have a lot of other creators now that have come on and are following it. So from starting out with just like a little, just a small community of people following it to where we are now, it's really pretty amazing.
And I love that too, because that was never a thought in anyone's mind, right? Like North Andover didn't know that she would have the support that she did. Justin and his family didn't know that she would have the support that she did. And there's not anything for us people, especially, out of state and all there's only so much we can do.
Absolutely.
But we can help, donate as small or as big. That helps us feel like we're doing something. And so it's always a good point, or like to your point, to have something like a GiveSendGo. People want to help.
Yeah, absolutely. And even with the Amazon list and whatnot, I mean, she's been able to furnish her quite a bit of her new townhome. So it's been, and she really does appreciate this. I don't know if you guys did see, but even last night she made a point of like going online and saying, I'm so loved. Like, thank you all so much. She's so overwhelmed and grateful for all the support. So I appreciate you guys and everybody that's come and watched our streams and watched Mazza's rants. I mean, you know, they've lived through it all and enjoyed it and keep coming back for more, apparently. So they must like it.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's been, you know, it's one of those things too, where like, you know, you have to have a GiveSendGo, because once you have that, then we can start to amplify it on shows like this. Absolutely. Where we say, okay, you got to GiveSendGo. Great. You know, Lauren, Common Sense Investigator on YouTube, give her a follow. You know, same thing. Had an idea. I was doing fundraisers. I was doing it every week. But what did Lauren say to me? She says, I have an idea. I think we need to amplify this even more. What Lauren did was she said she took, you know, a fundraising concept. She was on numerous fundraisers for me and had an idea to do fundraisers in between, almost like a bi-weekly alternating weeks. And all I did was amplify this. Every weekend, we were able to get a fundraiser in off our two programs, and it was huge. And Lauren, you know, they talk about my fundraisers, but let's talk about yours. You know, how many have you hosted now? And, you know, if we take the total of mine and yours and add them together, I think we're over $65,000, maybe $70,000. I'm gonna have to do the math on that one.
But it's not even just like those numbers from the actual fundraisers. I mean, the amount of like support that you guys brought in and the recognition and the attention to the case, whether it's people, you know, watching on the replay or, you know, just people seeing it or hearing about it from somebody else. I really think, you know, you can attribute even a lot more of what's there to you guys doing what you've done. I'm grateful to both of you. And the best thing for me is I've made new friends, which is great. And I consider you guys among my best friends now. I've loved spending the time with you guys. And it's really been great. It's been a great outlet for me because when I look at this stuff and I analyze this stuff, and you know, my dog gets sick of talking to me about it, and but it's good to have the community like wanting to know the answers to the questions. I'm so grateful to be able to answer some of the things, especially in this line, where there's a lot of like family law stuff, which obviously, you know, I do have a lot of knowledge in that area. And I'm grateful to have an outlet for my experience and my education too. So it's been great for me. I really appreciate it.
And your knowledge has been like invaluable. Like there's no way we can like say thank you enough for like sharing all of that, you know, with us, because family law, a lot of people don't get to see inside of a courtroom a lot of times and inside the filings. And for you to break that down, it has been just a treasure.
Oh, thanks, Lauren. And it is a very unique practice of law, as you guys saw. I mean, did you guys both catch the stream today at all? For the judge at all I
caught up. It wasn't too long, so I was happy to kind of watch it quick.
It was long. If you were like, at first I was like, okay, I'm gonna jump on at 10 o'clock, but of course, you know, that didn't happen. But then I knew, I'm like, this is like, I could tell she was keeping it for the end of the list pretty much. And Michael Bryant was funny because he was like tweeting about all the different cases that were going on beforehand. And I'm like, yeah, this is my life. And that happens a lot of times when I go to family court. Like normally, you know, it's like a cattle call. Okay. So your case, everyone was like, when is Kelsey coming on? When is Kelsey coming on? Well, Kelsey's not the only case in the courtroom. And it has kind of happened where they seem to have put her on a calendar where there's maybe not a lot going on. Well, today there was a lot going on. So they had a lot of other cases that they had to deal with. And it was just kind of funny because that happens all the time. When we go to court, like I'll be scheduled for 9 o'clock, but guess what? 25 other people scheduled for 9 o'clock. That doesn't mean you're going to get called at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So, sometimes I'll stroll in a little bit late or whatever. And I always tell my clients, don't worry if I'm late, because it's not like the checking in part is like that alone takes an hour, like the lines out the door, because you have a lot of pro se litigants. Pro se means a person's not represented. And I'm not trying to insult anybody's intelligence. Some of these things people don't understand what that means. But, when you have a pro se litigant, that means people aren't represented by attorneys. Quite often in family court, people are representing themselves. So they take a lot of instruction from what we call the assistant judicial case manager, the clerk that's sitting in front of the judge. We call the assistant judicial case manager, or the sessions clerk. Actually, generally it's the sessions clerk that's sitting in front of the judge and the AJCM sitting to the side. But the sessions clerk needs to give a lot of guidance to the people that aren't represented by attorneys. Here, you need to go fill out this financial statement. You need to go down and check in with probation. You need to whatever. Well, as attorneys, we don't really need that instruction. So I'm like, I get there when the line's thinning out a little bit, because otherwise my clients are paying me to stand in a line for 45 minutes. And that's kind of silly, So I should have known that it wasn't going to start. I knew it wasn't going to start at 10, but it was a big list. And I do tell my clients, though, to have a seat in the courtroom. And, and I will find you. I'll be there. I will find you well before your case is being called. But I really think it's important for the people to listen to the judge and to hear the cases that are going before the judge, because it gives you perspective on, one, how that judge thinks, two, how that hearing is going to go. Things aren't maybe going to go the way you think they're going to go. You maybe are not going to be able to say all the things that you want to be able to say. It's going to be limited. And it does give them a little bit more education about how the process is. And that the fact that you think your case is so unique and so special, and this is going on all day before the judges of the probate and family court. All of these things, they're hearing all of this stuff constantly. Every single day, 5 days a week, they've got people coming in that don't get along, that have custody issues, parenting time issues. And that's what we saw a little bit of today. And it was interesting with Michael tweeting it. Well, now there's a guardianship case, and now there's this, and now there's that. And it's like, yeah, that's what it is. And so the judges, people can put things in motions and memorandums and affidavits, but the judges do kind of see through the BS and cut to the chase. And I do think that's what the judge did today. As much as people wanted to see maybe a slap down of Justin, I kind of already knew that wasn't going to happen. And most of what happened today, I predicted before it happened. So
that's good.
Yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts about today and all of that, because I thought it went pretty well, but I guess she seemed very fair, and that I'm just very happy about.
Yeah. Well, she was really focused. She said she reviewed all the pleadings. I do think that based on a couple of the questions that she asked, she didn't really maybe get to see the last two pleadings. I don't know if you feel the same way, Lauren.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what? She should know these. If
she was like, well, I mean, what about these assault things? And you didn't, and like, yeah, she did address them and denied them.
Uh-huh.
So what do you want me to do about that? I mean, it's denied that didn't happen. And she did say she read them, but it was a lot. And some of that stuff just got submitted like after 3 p.m. yesterday. There was like the opposition that Julie Hess had filed, and an opposition that Peter Keiko had filed, and then an opposition to the motion on the GAL. In addition to the other previous motions that were filed, the verified motion of Justin, the opposition, the motion for further temporary orders of Kelsey with the affidavit of Kelsey. So like, I get that maybe you missed a document, you know what I mean? But some of that was, but she did say, I will look at the submissions. I will look at them again. Like, she did review them. But my takeaway from all of this is, if you're interested in me telling you what I think is going to happen next.
Yes, please.
Okay. So what's going to happen next? Because there was a lot that went on in the hearing, and I had to go back and listen to it because we really got to get law girls new equipment. Okay. We got to start a fundraiser for them with new equipment, because they're always there, and I give them so much credit for showing up and doing these things. But the audio for the judge, like, I could hear the parties, I could hear the attorneys fine, but I had to go back and kind of catch a couple of things, because I saw a couple of things posted on X, and I'm like, I didn't hear the judge say that. So I wanted to go back and be like, did the judge actually say that? And I think no, that the judge didn't say it, and they just heard it wrong, because it was very hard to hear. But I did go back and listen to it. So this is what I think is the next thing that's going to happen. The judge indicated that she's not going to be the judge on the case, but that she understands that some of these issues are imminent, and she's there to rule on the things that were heard today. The things that were heard today were temporary order motions filed by both parties relative to the parenting time of Kelsey and the motion for a GAL. Julie Hess basically agreed that she didn't really have a problem with the GAL. She just didn't want it to hold up the parenting time, which I've always said that makes perfect sense. A judge can do both. A judge can appoint the GAL and then put into place some interim parenting time. So I think what she's going to do now, and it won't take long, even though she took it under advisement, that doesn't mean anything. It just means that you're not going to stand there from a bench and say, all right, I'm going to give every Saturday to Sunday from this time, that time. She's going to put some thought into it. She's going to write an order that says, this is what we're going to do with the parenting time. And she's going to probably do a hybrid between what they were looking for and what Julie Hess had asked for, which was a professional supervisor to do like the first few weeks. I don't think she's looking at a supervisory center. She asked Justin's attorney to present 2 names of professional supervisors, because Julie Hess had presented 2 names of professional supervisors that he objected to. One, because the person worked with Bradel. Really? Are you kidding me?
He said it was absolutely inappropriate. I was like,
yeah, because a professional has worked with another professional. That would be like, that would be saying like every GAL that I've ever worked with on my cases can't then be a GAL in another case, because they've worked with Mullen before. We can't have them come on. What? That's a little nutty. But I don't know what that professional working with Bradel in a professional capacity has to do with like not being able to supervise appropriately Kelsey. It's just insane. But anyway, so she said she wanted 2 names from him. I think she's going to do what Kelsey was asking for, which was a few weeks of just doing a professional supervisory thing. And then maybe she might do that a little longer than what they're asking for, but then to switch over to where the parents can potentially be supervisors, because, as the judge rightly pointed out, but didn't your client even contact them when the parties were having issues? I mean, didn't seem to have any problem with them then,
That was chef's kiss. I was like,
I know, I was loving that part too. It's like, well, what, and so that said to me that this judge understands a lot. Okay. So she's reading between all the lines and saying like, okay, she's not going to believe everything that Kelsey put. She's not going to believe everything that Justin put. She's getting to the heart of the matter. And she stated it over and over again, that the heart of the matter is this child, we need to have a reunification of this child. It's imminent. We can't wait forever. In other words, we're not going to wait 3 months to start having a reunification. So she's going to put in place, she's going to appoint a GAL. And she did seem to agree that it should be a category E. I kind of don't necessarily agree that it has to be a category E, but she did seem to say that. And that person's going to be an investigator, which is an arm of the court to report back to the court relative to issues regarding parenting time and custody, and both parties' respective positions in the case, and both parties' ability to co-parent, and things like that. And that person will also be able to look into the medical records and things like that. And a side note, I mentioned this before, but we usually get another GAL that waives the privilege and says it's important for the court to see this, so the privilege is waived relative to any psychiatric records. That would be another step that has to be taken. But I did get the sense the judge is not going to wait for the GAL report to start the reunification process. That may aid the court in the future in coming to a more ultimate parenting plan, but I think she's going to start it very soon. As you heard, she said, yes, on Mother's Day, she's going to have some parenting time on Mother's Day. She she shot Attorney Keiko right down relative to the Mother's Day thing, and said, I really don't think, this child being with maternal grandparents and mother and maternal family on Mother's Day puts him at any risk. I want to say that's a direct quote. I don't think it puts him at any risk. And so I'm hoping, wouldn't that be awesome if she gets a whole day on Mother's Day? And it's so great, because when you look back, it's like that was really the last milestone that she got to share with Caidyn, and for her to now be able to, complete the year and not have to miss it. It just gives me even goosebumps just thinking about it. Right. It's like that. She's not going to have to miss Mother's Day. That's been in the back of my mind while all this stuff was pending. Please just let's make sure we have some of this resolved by Mother's Day. And that does seem, and the judge did seem to make it very clear that what they were suggesting, Justin was suggesting, was not enough. It's not enough, Justin. It needs to be more if you're actually going to have any meaningful reunification with a 14-month-old. You don't go 1 week to, go week to week. You don't do that. You can't. He's going to be like every week. It's going to be it's going to be a surprise. It's going to be like, oh, who's this lady again? You can't do that. And the judge seemed to be very on board with all of that. So that's my overall thoughts. I'm happy to answer any questions in the chat. I know a lot of people online were like, oh, this sucks. I knew what was coming, and I get it. It's 37 years of experience in the family court. I heard people thinking that the court was going to be like, here you go, we're giving the baby back to his mom. That's just not realistic. They have to look at what's in his best interest right now, and he has been separated from his mom. Regardless of how all that happened, right now we have to look at that and make sure it's done appropriately.
I have a question. Sorry, go ahead, Mom.
Okay. No, go ahead. On my show, the guests speak first. Go ahead, Lauren.
No. Before I forget it, I know obviously it wasn't addressed today, and it makes sense why it would not be. But will there be a point in the hearings and the procedures after once Ulrich gets back on the case where Justin's videos of drug use are brought up as a concern? How will that happen? If so, because that is a concern. I mean,
so
I just
the drunken video as well. I'd like to add to that.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yep. So this is my thought on that. That is probably going to be addressed by the GAL report. If you notice today, so I feel like Julie Hess has a strategy in terms of how she's approaching the case. And she wants to make it clear to this court, because the truth is she is at the disadvantage. Justin right now has full sole legal and physical custody. He has had custody for some time. We have a rule in family court. If something's not broke, you don't fix it, and it is broke because he needs a relationship with his mother, but there's no indication that he's having any issues in his current situation. We don't have any evidence to any of that. Obviously the JL could potentially come up with evidence to some of that stuff. So I think Julie Hess went more with what the court is looking for people to do, is being more conciliatory. And she came around and said, we're not trying to say that Justin is a bad parent. Okay. I mean, the stuff that she filed kind of indicated Justin's a bad person, but it didn't really say he was a bad parent. And she did what she had to do. And the judge read all that and heard all that stuff, but it did start to become like a he said, she said. It's like, what rotten things can Keiko say about Kelsey, and what rotten things can Kelsey say about Justin? And the judge is like, okay, I mean, this is family court. This is what we do all the time. And I think that, I think Julie Hess's strategy was appropriate, and she's been practicing a long time too, because this is what the judge is looking for co-parenting. They're looking for two people that are going to be able to work together and cooperate. And if you have one parent that's saying, we're willing to co-parent, we're willing to do that thing, and the other one saying, no, eventually the judge is going to turn to the no one and be like, well, what's your problem? You need to be able to step up to the plate. And I really do think that's what's going on here. They'll leave the other things up to the GAL when they get appointed in terms of investigating that stuff. But I think that if people are expecting some big court date where people are humiliated and all that stuff is going to happen. You're probably not going to see that in the family court.
Like I said, there's videos out there, security footage of him smoking pot. Mm-hmm. There's him being released, suspended at least from his job. There's a video of her with the baby on the couch and him stumbling and falling as he's falling. He can't get up, or he's tripping, falling. All that footage, but yet you hear all these horrible things about Kelsey all the time, like this whole group of super friends or whatever, like Kelsey bad, Kelsey did this, Kelsey did that during the joint bachelorette party, but you never see anything on video.
Right.
You never see like video documented evidence of Kelsey bad, and here's the proof, but you see other footage of him, and again, there's nothing wrong with smoking marijuana. It's just that, he was basically, the issue is that he had a job that required him not to do that. And he was in violation of that, which is justified by the fire department suspending him. And that, to me, is just a little bit of information. It just says, hey, look, this guy's not all there. Now, in the end, I don't predict that she'll get 100% custody. I also don't think he will. I think it's going to end up being a joint thing. But I no pun intended with the joint comment.
Very nicely played.
I didn't realize I even made that pun till after I said it. I'm like, wait a second, there's a joke here. There's room for a joke. Let's go with it. But yeah, it's a situation where I don't see any significant evidence or information out there that in any way, shape, or form harms Kelsey Fitzsimmons. She didn't get criminally charged. She's what has she really done? That's awful and bad. It's all hearsay when it comes to her and her life. This woman has done nothing but display, based on what I've seen, an earnest, honest. This woman cares about her baby more than her health and her, in her criminal case. This woman desired to see her baby more than anything in the world. This woman, some people wish for $1 million, early retirement, a yacht, living in Italy. All great things, living in Bermuda, wherever. Kelsey's primary goal in yearning in life is to simply see her baby boy, who she carried for 9 months, had stripped away from her, and is about as awful. I mean, that day she had was about as bad of a day you could possibly have as a human being.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It gets, every single level of it was awful. Yeah. This affected her career. It affected her motherhood. It affected her freedom. It affected her health. It's a horrible situation. And, I think Julie Hess, Kelsey's attorney, was spot on today. I don't know, like I said, sometimes people have high anticipation of what can be done in court, but I feel like she hit on all our key points. She was very prepared. I was insulted by Justin's attorney, basically trying to portray himself as a very accommodating person.
Oh, man.
No kidding. Go ahead. Yeah, take it away, Lori.
No, I know. I mean, because, I also kind of know, and we all do a little bit about behind the scenes. It's like, well, they never asked for it. And it's like, what he was trying to say. And then you even saw Julie Hess went like this.
Yes.
She actually went like this. They have been asking to set something up, since the restraining order got got vacated, since all the provisions in the restraining order that would have prevented her from having any contact got vacated, which was April 13th, whatever that date was that we had, April 13th, April 14th. They've been asking and asking and asking and asking to try to set something up. And, lo and behold, just coincidentally, a few days before the court date, come to the office type of thing. And my understanding is, I know people were commenting that it could make the attorney a witness. Both attorneys were present at that visit. And it was 2 to 2.5 hours, depending on who you believe or whatever. It was a little awkward. He started talking about, he put a blanket on the floor. It's like, shut the F up. I was getting so aggravated with listening to him. Like, no, it's like, it was like, I mean, and you can block, you do have your ears blocked, Mazza, but stick your fingers in them. It's like, it was so like mansplaining. Like, it was just like, what? Like, are you kidding me, buddy? Like,
I thought it was a good idea to let her see the kid for a few hours on Sunday. I'm a good guy, right? I'm compassionate.
And we've been trying to set it, and he's like, and they never asked
Yeah.
Well, when was it that they were supposed to ask? But the judge caught him, right? The judge caught him because the judge was like, well, it's not a matter of whether they asked. It would have been appropriate for you to offer. Like you should have coordinated that. Like, and they have asked. They didn't maybe ask in court because the time wasn't appropriate for them to ask in court. They had to wait for that restraining order. Really, he's the criminal trial was only a piece of it. He mentioned the criminal trial, but until that restraining order was basically lifted, how could she have parenting time? So the point was, after that got lifted, that court date wasn't about that. So after that got lifted, then she started reaching out and saying, can we set something up? Can we set something up? And then finally he waited till the very last minute, the weekend before court, and does it, and then turns around and says, well, she never asked.
I was so insulted by that. Like,
I would have been screaming.
Shame on you. And like, I'm sure his shoulder is sore from throwing it out, from patting himself on the back today. He was literally thinking, and then he kept throwing it, well, I'm a GLA. Okay, well, good for you, sir. You're not going to be on this case. So like, I don't know what you're thinking. And then he talks out of two sides of his mouth, like saying, oh, we need, this, and this. And then the judge is like, no. And then he's like, okay, we agree with that. And so does my client. Really? Is that why you just objected to it? No, like, stop it. You're not gaslighting anyone. Oh, he was on my nerves.
Right. Yeah. And just like, I was texting with Judge Erskine today, and she was saying, she made some comment about him pandering. And it was just funny. Like, anyway, I don't want to just, but it was just like, the words she used were kind of like, colorful, and it was just really, really funny. And I was like, that's pretty funny. Anyway, but yeah, because he did start, like, anytime the judge would call him out, he was really pandering, and he was like, doesn't he seem like such a kiss ass? Like,
completely.
He's definitely like Eddie Haskell-ish, right?
Yes.
It's like, Eddie from Leave It to Beaver.
Emily. Yes, when he said this, I'm like, you are not her father. How dare you? The guilt trip. Oh, get out of here with that. Sir.
Yeah,
like,
I'm disappointed what my sister says about no abuse. Are you effing kidding me? She's never admitted to any of the abuse. So you really thought she was going to come? You know what, Judge? You're right. Kelsey's been beating the crap out of him was beating the crap out of him for the whole time the baby was around. You know what? Like, what? That was always denied. And guess what? Like, to Mazza's point, there's no video evidence of any of that, but we got some video evidence of some other interesting things that have gone on in this case.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's what I mean. Again, I'm like, it's like, I'm disappointed in my sister. Like, first of all, your personal opinion has no place in this particular forum. What's interesting to me is if they're trying to make the argument that Kelsey can't see her child, or they want to try to make sure Justin has as much advantage as possible, wouldn't actually allowing Kelsey to see that baby this past weekend actually weaken their argument? Because if they have the confidence to do that, then they really have no basis for arguing Kelsey shouldn't see her child at least 50% of the time.
Yeah, right. And he says, oh, it went well. I mean, it was a bit awkward. You freaking think?
I bet it was.
You sitting there, brother counsel over there. And no offense to the real brother counsel that we all know and love on X.
I love that guy.
Serious. I love him. I wish he was there. He would have been great in there. Yeah. But like, I'm sure you didn't make it awkward at all. I mean, between him and Justin, I mean, who's more awkward than Justin? He does something really off there.
And also, just as someone who has supervised visits for DCF, it is that to me, that is not necessarily, I'm assuming, and this is my assumption, that it's in a big room, but like still a room nonetheless.
Yes.
How is that baby going to feel comfortable if you're with someone and then his father, the only parent he has known for almost a year, is right there?
Right.
The child is constantly going to be like, oh, but I should go to him. And so like, that's just also completely awkward for the baby. Like
Absolutely.
He's not going to get the most out of that experience with Justin being in the room.
Yeah.
So I just,
and like Kelsey, to Kelsey's credit, she would have agreed to anything
Yes.
at that point. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, okay, if that's what's going to take for me to be able to see my child, even though they've been asking and asking and asking, and really it was just a self-serving reason why they did it this weekend so that they could say in court that they did this thing. I mean, but you know what, to Kelsey's credit, she wasn't going to be like, yeah, no, I'm not going. She was like, I'm going to go see my son. Like, and I'm sure that, you know, as much as we would have liked it to be different, I'm sure that it still meant the world to Kelsey. And I can only imagine, I mean, you know, for her to be able to even hold it together during that meeting, when you are seeing your son, like I get upset when I leave my dog for a week. Okay.
Same.
And then like him and I like cry all over each other when I pick him back up. You know what I mean? It's weird. So to think of like being separated from your flesh and blood and your child that you loved and you held and you've missed all this time for all these months. And like, you know, when people go away to war, you see those videos and they come back, like she's finally able to see him for that small amount of time in this awkward situation. Yes, it is awkward with dad and his attorney and whatnot. I can only imagine what that even felt like for Kelsey. I mean, but I'm sure it was a wonderful and also heartbreaking experience at the same time. I mean, I think both emotions were probably there, like seeing him, how big he's gotten. And you know, what
that's a huge one right there.
Yeah. Right. What a big boy he is. I mean, think about it. Last time she saw him, he was 4 months old. And now he's 14, going 15 months old. He's walking in all likelihood. He's got a personality. He's probably blabbing. And like for her to take all that in and not lose it.
Yeah.
Like this woman is effing strong. Yeah. Okay. Like if she was able to not completely fall apart during that, then I think she's okay. Like, because I don't know that I could say the same for myself if that were the situation that I was in.
Absolutely.
It's just disgusting. Again, the time she hasn't seen her child, and that's really what I've always said is that's time you just can't get back. How many parents sit there and say all the time, well, kids grow up fast, and you know, as much as that's horrible, as much as you know, anybody that's ever had a baby, you know, now their kids are going off to college. As much as that time can go by really quick, at least those people, for the most part, get to see their kids every day. Right. Kelsey's in a situation where she's missed that 10 months or whatever it's been now, hasn't even seen the kid, you know, wanted, you know, a lot of other things to be able to see the child, wasn't able to do it. It's a sad story. And it just makes me so sick. It does, because it's just ultimately, this is not something that should be going on anywhere in this country. And they continually try to make her out to be this horrible person. And again, I mean, look, every single person out there has their good features, bad features, some more than others. Like, you know, Kelsey has more good features. Justin has more bad features, I'm guessing. But, you know, it's just, this is, they get up there and it's just this smug attitude from the judge, from the lawyer today, his lawyer today. And I'm tired of it. I just want to see this thing move along a lot quicker. Obviously, there's been some lack of patience expressed online, obviously, as we've seen. But look, I think it was May 10th for the temporary order to be written, at least. That's the deadline. So hopefully there's some good stuff there where she can get some custody. I mean, they had to give her a nice month of sole custody of that child. And at this point, because it's just been,
I think it'll come out before then. I think we'll probably see it come out. Let me see, what's today is
28th.
And Tuesday, Wednesday, probably come on. I would say probably closer to like the beginning of next week, if not before that. I think kind of like she might wait to give them a couple of days to submit those 2 names. You know, and she might have even had them do that before they leave. Like a lot of times, like when the hearing's over, like the judge will say, like, have them give me those 2 names before they go or whatever. But I don't think she's going to wait that long. She's going to be putting an order together. One, because she wants to clear it off her thing. The fact that she's taken under advisement is more like, it is a little bit more thought you need to put into it than just like ruling from the bench. It's not like Judge Karp saying not guilty, even though he did get a little more involved in that. But it is a little bit more involved. And if you see what she did, quite frankly, and this is what I think a lot of the probate and family court judges are really skilled at. She got them to agree to things while she was standing up there, and I said that, in a post. I think it was like kind of like, you'll see, like, she's going to see, even if the parties haven't come to any agreements, that maybe they are in agreement on some things. And some of it is because she'll suggest it. And then the judges the parties and their attorneys don't want to argue like with the judge. So, cause then they look like they're the problem, right? So she was like, well, I mean, do you have any problem if she's going to see the child on Mother's Day? And it's like, what's he going to say? Yeah, I have a problem. Right. So like initially kind of like pushed back a little, and he's like, oh, we'll defer to you, judge, whatever. But now, so what she has on the record now is an agreement that Kelsey can see her baby, because that's what he basically said. We'll defer to you. Fine. We'll do that. Whatever. And even on the GAL, we'll defer to you on the GAL appointment. And Julie has that. So now she's got an agreement on those two issues from the parties. You know what I mean? That she will make that into an order. But she probably may even reference in the order, by agreement of the parties, they're going to do this, because they did kind of agree to it on the record. So it's kind of like takes it off of her shoulders. And, even though it was strongly maybe encouraged by her, the parties did come together with her pushing a little bit. And I see that skill a lot in my practice. Even I do a lot of mediation and conciliation work. I'm a court certified conciliator. The court has conciliation. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back like Peter Keiko, but that is a skill that you learn in terms of like the parties are this, one's over here and one's over there. They're far apart. Like, but what, you would agree to this and you would agree to that. And then they kind of be like, well, I guess I would agree to this. You know what I mean? And then, so she'll put that together, and it should be I think she'll probably get something out within a week. We probably should see something from her in order, with some parenting time, with the parenting time for Mother's Day scheduled, with some interim parenting time, because I wrote it down in my notes when I listened again. She said that was imminent. She said she was going to rule on that. She said, certainly a lot of things are imminent. And, this isn't my case, but I'm going to need to rule on these imminent things, is basically what she was getting at. The imminent things on the GAL and some interim parenting time. That's imminent. Like, you need to get that going. You can't just keep putting that off, because we need to have some reunification here. And I think we'll see that come out within a week.
How long do you expect the temporary order once it's out? How long what do you expect for a time frame? Like, for how long is that temporary order going to be in effect? Until further notice? Or is there going to be like a...
So the judge would probably, that's an excellent question, because like family court doesn't work like other courts. It's like so random. It's random, but in a methodical way. In other words, we don't follow like necessarily a time schedule like you do in other cases. So what's going to happen, based on what order she makes, she's probably going to set a review date right in this temporary order and say, we're going to do the parenting time like this, and it's going to be supervised, and it's going to be like at the home of mother, and it's going to be with an appropriate supervisor, blah, 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 blah. And she'll say, and this will happen. This will be the times of the parenting time, and this will happen for the next however much time. And then the GAL will have the report. And she might even go to like a step ahead, like in terms of like going to a more like liberal parenting time with even parental supervisors. But she's going to set a date for the parties to come back to have those temporary orders reviewed. How is it going? How is mom doing with her parenting time? Let's have the supervisors come in. How is that? Or they'll submit their reports to the court. It looks like parenting time is going great. It looks like the child's doing well with mom. Okay, now we can go to the next stage. So I expect that we'll probably be back in court again. Now, we have already what we consider to be a pretrial date in July. Again, I think that pretrial date will get pushed, because it's not really ripe for pretrial. Pretrial is, we either are going to be able to have an agreement and a judgment on all issues, or we're ready for trial. Well, you're not ready for trial, because you have to have all these things in place, like the GAL report and whatnot. But I do think they potentially would use that July date to step up the parenting plan again, and like, okay, let's add more time and maybe get rid of the supervisor, and then might be looking more towards the fall of like graduating more to like getting into a judgment, like a judgment of the court, where we're getting into a 50-50 parenting time. If the GAL report comes back great for Kelsey, she's done her parenting time, no issues, everything's going really well. They could enter a judgment in maybe like September, meaning that they won't have any further return dates. However, if ever there's an issue, you can always go back to court. So if either party has a problem, if there's a change in circumstance, if they feel like a custody needs to change, you can always file a complaint for modification and ask the court to look at it again, even if there's not another pending court date. But I expect we'll probably see another 2-3 months. We'll see another date to review what she put into place here. And then it'll go from there. It'll be the other judge more than likely reviewing that.
Okay. Lauren, did you want to jump in with anything?
There was a time when and I don't even know her attorney's name, and honestly, he's not worth knowing his name, but or his attorney's name. Yeah. But he specifically said, we want this to move forward in a controlled way. And I thought that says it all.
Yep.
Control.
I actually wrote that down, controlled.
Yes.
It's like, well, there we have it, you know? And I mean, I get what he's saying on the one hand, but it's like, okay, but it's not all under your control. Mm-hmm. You know, we can have rules in place and we can have methods in place and we can have orders in place. But it's not always about what you might think is the best way to go about it. So, but yeah, that term was telling. I agree, you know, because that's what I've always said. This has been about control, and I'm not sure it's necessarily Justin. I mean, I think a lot of it is coming from the family. You know,
agreed. I don't think he's smart enough to think a lot of this stuff, to be clear and honest, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's a great point, because honestly, as a guy, to be honest with you, I wouldn't have a clue in hell on how to handle the situation. If I was making those kind of decisions, I would not manifest those thoughts myself. I would have to have like a team of people around me, women, you know, mostly of course, to be like, hey, do this, do that, do this, you know. But it just seems like that. Yeah, it just seems like it's like dude don't know what he's doing, and that's the issue with him. He's just up there and like, it's like, bro, you're really doing this? He's like,
yeah. The difference between him and you, though, Mazza, is you admit it.
right, yeah, exactly.
And if Mazza's saying that, and we know how bright and smart Mazza is, imagine Justin just being a guy and then also being having the brain that he has. Like, he didn't think of any of this, in my opinion.
It's like, who put you up to this?
Yeah.
Who put you up to this? Yeah. You know this wasn't your idea. It's like anytime you got in trouble growing up, it's like, we know you didn't think about this yourself. Somebody put you up to this. Who was it?
And I mean, I do think it was really interesting that you know, Julie Hess did use the time to try to explain to the judge that before the world collapsed, the parties were co-parenting. And a lot of the things, you know, even in his affidavits, it's like, okay, but like, you didn't leave it. Like, I mean, I don't know. I think they're highly exaggerated, because I mean, if some of the things he put in there and you're still staying together, not only do you stay together, you then propose marriage and like whatever. So apparently, you know, couples fight, you know. I mean, I will say this. They don't belong together. They don't belong together. It's like fire and ice. They don't, the world is not a safe place with the two of them in it together as a couple. And some people are just like that, right? They just like have that dynamic where they're going to have issues. But that's not really about her or about him. It's just like, you don't really belong together. It happens.
Do you think there's an element to this where, like, you see the way people turned on Kelsey prior to all of this going down that day? You think it's similar to what Karen went through with the O'Keefe family, where the O'Keefe family really weren't too fond of Karen prior to whatever had happened? You know, it's kind of similar to this too, where these people just don't like Kelsey or Karen, and therefore anything that does happen, their position on it is going to be anti-Kelsey or anti-Karen inherently.
Yeah. Well, when I was reading Kelsey's motion last night about the trip, what was it, a Cancun trip? Was it
Croatia?
Okay, Croatia trip, right? And that was very telling to me. And like, if, you know, and I'm going to take everything Kelsey says as fact, because I love Kelsey and I think she tells the truth anyway, because she's also says things that aren't necessarily in her interest. And
correct.
Right. And so when you have that kind of thing where she says things that maybe aren't that helpful. I mean, when she got on the stand and said, yes, I did this thing, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I mean, she admits to the fact that she's not a perfect person, unlike St. Justin, who like obviously has never done anything wrong in his entire life and always just wanted to just be helpful and loving and be the best person ever and the best dad ever. Anyway, so it was just kind of interesting to me that it seemed like this family seems a little odd, right? I mean, it's like they didn't really want her to be there. Quite frankly, she was an outsider, and it was like, then of course she was pregnant, so she was slowing them all down on their 6-mile hikes and doing the things, and like, and you know, there might have been a little of Kelsey being like, hey, like, I'm over here, can you give me attention, Justin? I'm pregnant with your baby and I'm not feeling that great. And as a person who has been pregnant twice, and yes, it was like, you know, about 100 years ago, aside from that, it was, you know, you're tired. It's a lot, you know, and sometimes, you know, you might feel like you need a little more attention from your man and stuff like that. You want them to be caring about you. Is that so wrong? Is there anything wrong with that? I mean, to make it seem like, oh, she's needy and she's ruining this whole thing. It's like, okay, like, you people have a problem, like, you know, and I can see where she would be like, I am all effing set with this, you know. They seem to be weird to me. I don't know.
Yeah, 100%. And to your point, like, you don't even need to be pregnant to want a little extra attention. Maybe when you're on a trip with a family, you know, doesn't necessarily like you, and he's trying to play to both sides, and like you're being like, I'm feeling like completely an outsider here.
Right.
You know, like, hey, maybe spend a little bit more time with me. That's also very normal if you're not pregnant even. So like,
yeah, and it's like, just leave her behind. Like, oh, we're going to leave her behind because she can't, you know, we're not going to have her do this because she's pregnant, as though they're caring about her. Well, then Justin, like, then you say, I'll stay here with her because this is my fiance who's pregnant with my baby, and you guys go and have a nice time, and I'm going to stay with Kelsey. But it's like, you know, just like when he went away to Mexico, and, you know, it's kind of like, you know, really maybe not an appropriate time for you to do that. I mean, you know, women's emotions can get run really high then. And so it's okay to just say, no, I can't do that. Like, you know, but instead it's like so selfish. It's like, oh, she's acting so mad that I'm doing these things. It's like, yeah, dude, like, you know, it's like, I don't know, like, buy a vowel, like, he just doesn't get it. Like, like, I'm reading these things and I think like they're looking at it like, oh, this really shows what a psycho she is. And I'm like, she is every woman everywhere. Like, that's what she is. Like, I mean, it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, I get that maybe he doesn't have a clue, but that behavior is normal behavior.
Yeah. And the bottom line is, there will never be anyone good enough for the Elaine family. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
There's no one that is going to meet their standards. I think it's very telling that all of them still live at home with mommy and daddy, Lisa and Dougie, however you want to say it. And none of them are in relationships or, you know, married. Like, it's all a bit strange. Like, where is the, like, pushing your children to do great things and leave the nest? Fly away, little birdie. There is none. It's like, stay here. I'll cook your meals. I'll do your laundry. Like, you don't have to pay. Like, it's wild to me. So it's just, and that the bottom line too is that Justin will never do better than Kelsey.
Oh God, no. Oh no. And when you see him like in person, I mean, this is just being really catty, but like when you see, and we've all been in this position, like, at least Lauren and I don't know, Mazza, I don't think you were the other day he testified, but when you've seen him in person and you've seen Kelsey in person, I mean, we're talking 10 and 2 here. Like, I mean, like that, you know what I mean? It's like, and I, you know, I think, you know, there was a lot of that. She's so much, and so like far superior to him intelligence wise. Like, you look at like Kelsey's writing poems and Justin can't sign his name on a paper.
Yeah. How do I put the correct address? I didn't have an attorney to write the right one. It's not my fault.
Yeah.
It's an address, dude.
Well, he had to have somebody write that whole paper for him because his handwriting is literally chicken scratch.
Yeah.
Because because the signature was like, it's like, what the hell? So I don't think he's the brightest bulb.
No.
She was, I didn't know her. Obviously, none of us really knew her. We'd only heard her briefly in interviews. But then when she took to the stand, it was, and just not only the preparation stuff that Bradel, obviously, and the defense team helped her out with, but just simply the moments where they were a little bit off script, where, questions would not throw her off, but would be off, unexpected questions. She'd handle those. She'd ask rebuttal questions very nicely to try to figure out exactly what Gubitosi was asking. And I was like, wow, not that I ever had any preconceived notions of her level of intelligence, higher or lower. It was just once you saw her talking, it was like, oh, she's right at the absolute ceiling of intelligence and the ability to break down information, ask questions, tell her story. And honestly, her story made sense to me because there was a lot of questions I had. And as much as I already have a side, I'm constantly asking myself every day, I believe this, but is it accurate? I believe this, does it line up? And that's the way I am every day, regardless of my belief system, believing in her innocence. But when I heard her talk, it was like, oh, that's why she, so she did lie about the gun, but here's why. This is how it all just fit like a puzzle and all that mystery, because there was always that level of belief in her. But there was always those questions I had, that doesn't make sense. Why would she have, if she did lie, why would she have lied? Then when she told you why, it was perfect sense. That was so plausible. And when he got up there, or Noonan got up there, it was like your BS detector was going off. I mean, the thing was, your BS detector was going off on top of when it was going off. It was going off 2 or 3 times at the same time. Which was absolutely outrageous about this. But that's what I mean. Kelsey is very forthcoming with herself. She even criticized herself on the stand. I wish I hadn't have done this. She said, Kelsey, you're an idiot. People that are willing to look at it from both sides and say, this is what I did. This is what I could have done better. This is what I did wrong. This is what I regret. That's a person that's giving you an honest account of themselves. Someone that's well, I did what I did because, look what you did.
Yeah.
Like the girl on Dr. Phil. Like I just said. It's just
to your points, Mazza, I have watched trials for years. I, have been in the courtrooms a lot of times. I have never seen a better witness, especially as a defendant, taking the stand. I don't know that I ever will. She was perfect. Perfect. And it was because she was completely honest, but she also was vulnerable. She was humble and was willing to admit mistakes when she made them. She showed a sense of who she was, her personality, with the few little kind of funny things that were thrown in there, but very appropriate.
Right. Yeah.
And likable. So likable. And then you can't fake body language. You just can't. And every single thing about her testimony seemed and screamed truthful. And so that is why I believe Kelsey's narrative on all these other motions going forward, because all I've seen from Kelsey is complete truth. And it was
a good point.
Nothing on the stand. You cannot fake these things. And I'm huge on body language, statement analysis, all of that. And
you're trained in that too, aren't you? Lauren, aren't you trained in that kind of stuff? Yeah.
I've taken classes just on my own. So I definitely know how to pick up on a lot of them. I would love to get even more trained, but that to me was just huge. And I was blown away because she just nailed it. She just nailed it in every way. So again, all I've seen from Justin is his slimy actions, him trying to take Kelsey's house, him on video smoking God knows what, in my opinion. And all I've seen from Kelsey is truth. So,
and not just smoking, but the way he was smoking, right? The sneakiness of it all. That's what you get. Kind of get the sneaky vibe. The going into the house, it's all sneaky, right? Going down into the basement, bringing the buddies, going online, I don't know. It just gives you. It's a very slimy thing.
Slow Mazza. Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very sneaky. Yeah.
Yeah, and to that point, like obviously Kelsey was well aware that, you know, they had certain deals at this certain place on like Tuesdays or Thursdays, right? So why the need to do that? You know, that begs the question, like in my mind, why are you doing that? Like, is it that thing or is it something else maybe? I don't know, but like I have questions.
No kidding. No kidding. You know, and I think that for both, I think Kelsey's just ready to move on.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she can't change the father of the child. You know what I mean? And she understands that.
Yeah.
And you see what happens in probate and family court. People are not perfect. You know, they don't give you a test before you become a parent and say, you know, you can't become one and you can become one. And the probate and family court's dealing with this. I mean, there were several cases even today that were kind of like a little bit, you know, off. Like one mother was giving guardianship to the sister or an aunt or something because she felt she couldn't handle it and things like that. That's what the court's dealing with. So they're not expecting people to come in and be perfect. And so Kelsey's kind of like, I know he ain't perfect, but like, that's the father of the child. The child needs to have both parents in their lives doing the best that they can when none of us are perfect. And she's wanting to show the judge, that's the direction I want to go in now. Like, you know, a lot of times they get all of the bad stuff out in the paperwork, you know, and then you go to court. It's like, it's all there. The judge can see it, but now we're ready to move forward because you have really horrible things to say about me. And I have horrible things to say about you. And we put it all in the papers, as Melanie Little would say. And
the papers.
We put it in the papers. And now we can move on from that.
Good fellas.
We all have it memorialized in the papers. And we can try to like just work together because you're not going to change. These are the two human beings you have to work with, and they should try to work together and move forward to be good parents. And hopefully one of them will grow up a little bit. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to say which one.
Do you think that too, they're just not, you know, Justin's side, his attorney's side, maybe even his family's side, they just don't want to yield off the stance that they've taken in all of this, maybe to save face, maybe even from public perspective? I mean, I'll be honest with you, I really don't think they care about public perception at all, because if they did, they would have backed down a long time ago, if I'm being fairly honest. But it's like they just don't want to back off this fence. It's like, look, I mean, look, it's going to be joint custody, in my opinion. Worst case for Kelsey, best case for Justin. But it's like they have no argument against her. If they had any argument, that whole ruse that they pulled in North Andover, the police department, to make her look bad, what Kathleen McCarthy did. And the thing about Kathleen McCarthy naming is, you know how hard it is to be a bigger villain in this than Justin and Officer Noonan, and she actually pulled that off.
She's number one. There's three in this case, right? But she is number one.
Jeez.
Because honestly, without her, we wouldn't be where we are right now. We wouldn't be here. Like all these things that are happening now would have happened a long time ago. She would have been able to she wouldn't have been in jail for 103 days. She would have been able to have her parenting time. She blocked all of that stuff from happening, and so much time wouldn't have gone by, but now it has. And so, you know, I agree that I feel personally that she was public enemy number one in terms of the things that have happened to Kelsey in this case. I mean, like, you know, there's a few of them that are up there, but for her and her position and her capacity to do what she did, I still would love some answers as to why that happened, because I do think there are reasons, you know, and I'm mad that we may never get the answers.
Didn't Bradel say something about following up on that? I feel like he did somewhere.
He did say there's three. There are 3 complaints pending against her that have been accepted, but that can take a while. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're ever going to find, because the way they work, the CJC works and whatnot, they're just going to issue a decision that they either found that these complaints were credible or they weren't credible, and we'll do a public reprimand or a private reprimand. They're not necessarily going to elaborate on it, which is why it really angers me that the
100%.
Yes. That that they didn't rule on that motion to recuse. Yes, for sure, definitely. Yeah. I don't know. Something's not right. I do he seemed a little better today. At the last hearing, I was like, Justin's not right today. Like, I don't know. But I'm not going to say anything. I don't know. I really don't know, but he seemed off last time.
He always seems like a little bit mentally like, you know, like, there's something there. Yeah. It's kind of like, he's just kind of like, it's like the personalities or
maybe something that's not on the 14 panel test. Just, I'm throwing that. Maybe it's in the 15 panel test. I don't know.
I will say, I'll give credit where credit is due. He did get a tie that is from like the 2000s. So congratulations on that. That was good.
You're too kind, Lauren.
That was the first time I've ever been kind to him. So it's all right.
Honestly, yeah.
I think I'm going to have a who wore the maroon dress shirt better, me or him, because I wear maroon dress shirts and he always wears maroon dress shirts too. I'm like, no.
No, yeah.
Maybe he knew that.
You. He's copying you.
Yeah.
He only wishes.
Yeah.
There's a question here. Mazza, can you, the panel, explain why there's going to be a trial? Is it to determine custody? Don't they just make an order for that? Why a trial? Are there charges I'm unaware of? Thank you.
I don't think there's going to be a trial concerning custody. I'm not really sure what they're getting at there, but no, I don't. I mean, there could be a trial, like if both parties literally cannot come up with agreements, and the court can have a trial and make orders. But it seems very clear to me that the court's going to make interim orders, and this is what they'll do. And the parties will have to follow them. The parties are going to have to follow them and do this parenting time. And Kelsey's going to be fine at all that matters is Kelsey going to be fine. Like, raise your hand if you think Kelsey's going to be fine at the parenting time. Like, I think she's going to be fine. And so when people report back to the court that everything's fine, it's just going to gradually increase. And it's not really necessarily going to be a trial. But to think that the court's going to just say, now full custody to Kelsey, that's probably not going to happen. The courts really do favor a co-parenting plan now, more along the lines of what Kelsey's attorney had suggested, a 2, 2, and 3.
What do you think there's any serious path forward for Kelsey to get full custody in a realistic world?
Yes, but I think that would rely on somebody screwing up, and to say that won't happen, that would be far-fetched, because I think that very well could happen. Let's just put it that way. Okay. And that's why I say she can always come back in. So say at the end of this, everybody's getting along nice and they're playing nice and they do 50-50 and they enter a judgment. And then, just hypothetically speaking, if one of the parties develops a drug abuse issue, or there's issues with their parenting time, or like there was a case today where a party went in to try to change custody because the parent that had custody was bringing the children late to school every single day, and their things were being affected. That's a reason to bring it back in. And even then, is the court going to be like, oh, we're going to take custody away? No, they'll monitor the situation a little more. They might like split the days a little more. I've had judges be like, well, let's kind of give dad more of the school days, because they seem to be able to get the kid to school on time, like that kind of thing, because they really are trying to make it so that it'll work for both parties. But so, yes, I mean, if a party in a case ends up having potential problems and issues, like I think could potentially happen in this case, then certainly the other party can go in and say, I need to have physical custody. Legal custody is a little different, because there's 2 types of custody. That's the thing. People, I think, confuse those terms a lot. There's physical custody and there's legal custody. I think ultimately there's obviously no reason the party shouldn't have shared legal custody. They want to have shared legal custody in the probate and family court unless there's some reason why they can't do it. Like, for instance, when there was a restraining order in effect and you can't communicate, because you have to be able to communicate for a shared legal custody. And Kelsey couldn't communicate. So there was a reason why she couldn't have shared legal custody. Now there's no reason. There's no reason in place for the court not to order a shared legal custody. They might not have them right away, but that will happen. Like, that's going to happen a lot quicker even than the physical custody. But I do think gradually, within probably 4 to 5 months, you're going to see a shared custody parenting plan.
Another question here from Jeno, a great moderator here at MazzaMedia. Will GAL need to do a home visits at both houses? Imagine that's probably a yes.
So yes, I should say, generally speaking, it is a category E, which is one of the reasons why I said I don't really necessarily agree with the category E, because they can be a little more rigid and be like, come to the office and like I'm doing mental health evaluations, where to me, and some of this really requires more of a like home visit and an observation. And like when I've acted as GALs, when I do my GALs, I always do the home visits. And and the parties know that they're coming. It's not just a surprise visit, but like a home visit. And I've opened up refrigerators and things like that. Like and Lauren, working for social services, those are the kind of things you do, and the things you're kind of looking for that can't really be hidden. But yes, I think they would, like Justin's motion is like, oh, mental health evaluator for Kelsey. It's not going to work that way. Like the judge isn't going to appoint a category E or any GAL and just say, but just look at her. Don't look at him. Don't look over here. We just want you to look over. No, I mean, they're going to want a full investigation into custody, parenting time, mental health of the parties, any of these issues that have been raised, and to be able to talk to providers for the child, review records and things like that, make a report with recommendations to the court about all of those things, and both parties will be investigated. They're not just going to unilaterally look at Kelsey and not Justin.
Yeah. What did you think about Julie Hess today in her performance in court?
I thought she did well. I would never, it's like, I don't know, Monday morning quarterbacking, armchair quarterbacking, because as a person, I'm extremely critical of myself. Okay. Like when I have those kind of oral arguments, first of all, you're handcuffed a little bit because the judge is telling you right off the bat, I don't want to hear anything that's in those motions you filed, which I mean, like effing everything was in those motions that we filed. So like, maybe I should just sit down, judge, and say, look at the motion. Because you run the risk. It's kind of like she was purposely doing that, but you run the risk of like the judge yelling at you. Well, that's already in the papers, you're saying things that are in the papers. What's not in the papers? Well, the judge even said 216 pages. I mean, everything's in the papers. So I think kind of like put a little bit of a restriction on what she was able to say. Though I will say this one criticism, and Julie, I love you. It has really nothing to do because I'm doing it from the outside looking in and listening to the hearing twice. You didn't have that option and you didn't know the questions as they were coming. One of the things that I definitely would have done when the judge at the end said, counsel, what would you like to see for Mother's Day? And she said, I defer to Your Honor. I would have been like, Your Honor, I think my client should have the full day. I think the child should be dropped off at her home at 9 a.m. and we'll return the child back at 7 p.m. What do you have to lose? She's asking you what you want. I would go to an extreme. Do I think I'm going to have that? Do you think I'm going to do that? No. But then if they say, well, she's going to do something in between. I don't think I would have suggested something. I would have said, this is what we want. This is what we want. So that way, even if she gives a little less than that, she's kind of letting both sides win. You know what I mean? Like, okay, well, I'm not going to give you all of that, but I'll give you this. I don't think I would have deferred. I would have come up with an answer. I would have hoped I would have come up with an answer, but I'm not, honestly, I can see where, she's put on the spot there. And she's also trying to seem extremely conciliatory and saying, Your Honor, whatever you suggest, whatever you want to do. But I think the judge was asking her for like, what would you like to see? What do you want me to put in there? And I would have suggested something. I'd be like, Your Honor, I know it's a lot of time, but my client hasn't seen this child in a very long time. And it's Mother's Day. She would want to spend the whole day with him. So from morning to sometime in the evening, that would be wonderful, Your Honor. And then let the judge cut it back a little bit. But other than that, I thought she did great. And her filings have been fantastic. I mean, I don't know if people understand how much work goes in to putting something like that together. I mean, I read that and I read it with an eye towards understanding it and like really not just like, fast reading it. Like I was really kind of trying to absorb it, and like I would if it was one of my own cases, like trying to absorb it. And it took me a long time. Can you imagine how long it took to write it? And so like we're talking, that thing was being worked on for days and days. Okay. And this is, again, coming back to these fundraisers, like the amount of money that these legal fees are costing Kelsey. And I mean, it's well worth it. Yeah. Like, you got to do it. Yeah. But Jesus, I mean, it's a lot. It's got to be a lot. Like if I were to estimate, if I was billing this case, I'm just throwing this number out there. If I was billing this case from the time Julie Hess got it until now, my bill would probably be somewhere around 25 to 30K already, just on the family court case. That's not even anywhere near done. Okay. Yeah. So, and that's not counting this. So like, yeah, I mean, without these fundraisers, can you imagine if she didn't have the money to have the attorneys and she was trying to do all this on her own?
Yeah. So as far as Justin's concerned, he has an attorney himself. He's paying legal fees himself. What do you think his legal expenses are for the family court portion?
I think the same. I think he probably got into it, paid a pretty hefty retainer. Generally speaking, retainers on contested custody family court cases will run you somewhere between $5 to $10 grand. The attorneys bill out between anywhere from $375 to $450 an hour. And I don't mean $3.75. So he's an attorney with a lot of experience in an area. They're in Boston. Both he and Julie Hess are in Boston. That area you're looking at more like around
Kitty.
Lawrence wagging her tail. Looking at around 400.
We have a fourth guest on the show today.
Yes, Lauren's little kitty. Oh, I know.
Look at him.
Shoot. Yeah. He's probably billing at $450 an hour. Okay, so think about the number of hours that go in, and he's up there too, and all the people bill. Okay, so like he's there, and he's got those other two. If the other two attorneys are doing work on the case, they're billing. Their rate might be a little bit lower. Same thing with Julie Hess. She's got another lawyer. If you got paralegals, they're going to bill at a different hourly rate. But there's nothing being done that isn't getting put on a bill. Okay. So, that's really, and they're not going to work for nothing. And it's like, it's a very competitive, industry, and we all the rates are around the same, I should be a lot richer, but I
Can I just say, I love that for him. Like, yeah, I love it for him.
Right. Well, that's why he got the little dig in about the GiveSendGo. He certainly, maybe he thinks he should have his own GiveSendGo.
Yeah, he should take out a billboard.
Did I miss that? Wait, did I miss that? I'm sorry. Did I miss a dig at the GiveSendGo? Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, you must have. You didn't know that? Yeah.
No, I must have not heard.
And his last, was it the last motion that he filed?
Before this last one.
Before this last one.
I didn't read
before this last thing that he filed, he made some comment about her having this GiveSendGo and having all this money in the GiveSendGo. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It was a shout out to Mazza without being a shout out to Mazza. You're welcome.
Oh, it was fantastic. It's like, tell me you're pissed without telling me you're pissed. Yeah. And I literally said on like Twitter, like, challenge accepted. It irritates you. Great. Let's get it higher. Like, no problem.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, he's been the biggest gift of all to the GiveSendGo.
Justin is a real gift. Okay?
He's the gift that keeps on giving with it. It's like, let's have a few more tripping videos. Jeez, it's ridiculous. But yeah, he definitely brought it up.
Just wanted to let everybody know that through MazzaMedia, Kelsey's GiveSendGo has had $50,000 contributed to it, over 15 fundraisers. This number does not include the shows I participated on. Common Sense Investigator, who is to my left over here, to my right over here, who's also raised thousands of dollars as well. So,
yeah.
The quote John Travolta in the movie Face Off: "Interception. Our side's got the ball." Oh boy.
Oh yeah. So that, and I don't think he's.
She has a GiveSendGo. No.
She does indeed.
Mazza loves it. It's like awesome.
Boy.
It's so perfect. It really is.
Funny.
And like he could have a GiveSendGo and get all the aunties to, like, the anti-Karen Reed people. That's who supports him. It's bizarre, isn't it? It's
not because they like him or believe his story, just because we don't.
Because they have to, they have to be contrary, right? They have to be on the side that nobody likes.
I'm sorry. What side is Aiden Cardi on? Oh, so he's pro Kelsey. Well, I think Kelsey's dead.
It is funny that you should say it, because Aiden did bring a lot of attention to the case, and I'm grateful to him getting involved in the case in that way. But like, it also, like, she really had very little negative attention up until that point. And then as soon as he got involved, they're like, oh my God, this Kelsey. It's like they start losing their minds. It's actually pretty hysterical.
There was this one lady that doesn't like Aiden. She's hated Aiden for years. And she just like always talks about Aiden and like says Karen's guilty. And now she like writes like novels about how Kelsey's guilty as well. It's just interesting. That's all I wanted to say.
It's an obsession.
Yeah.
Obsession.
Oh.
Yeah. And like, and the people that would want, oh, she's never going to see her baby again. Oh, well, F you, guess what she is. Sometimes I'll respond to the trolls and I'm like, yeah, well, that's not going to happen. But but sometimes I'm just like how sad for you that brings you some great joy that you want to make this statement that this little baby is not going to ever see his mother again. Like, it's not true, but like, even the fact that would bring someone pleasure. What are you, some kind of sicko? Like, seriously?
There was one person I saw you going back and forth with, and I'm like, oh yeah, that person came after me. And I'm a quick blocker. Like, I'll never block people on the same side of the viewpoint as me, but when it comes to like the antis, I'm just like, block. I'm not even gonna.
I find them entertaining sometimes. So I keep it going a little while because you know what? Like I say to them, and they're like, oh, you should. I was getting attacked on my ethics and stuff, and this attorney isn't ethical or whatever, and it's like, they think I care that these trolls on X are calling out my ethics. Oh yeah, the BBO is going to be really upset. The trolls don't think I'm ethical. So I'm just like, give me a break. I don't care. And so they were like, oh, you should be concerned. I'm not concerned about any of it. That's why I'm not concerned about it. It's freaking X. What do you like? Really? I'm concerned about my clients and my practice, and I know that I have no issue with my ethics. So calm yourself down. It's just
I call them all Justin. I just say hi. Hi, Justin.
I know she does. I love when you say that. You're like,
yeah.
I'll look and see. Oh, okay. You just created your account. Yeah. Hi, Lisa.
Yeah,
hi, Ashley. Hi,
followers, Lisa and Doug.
Yeah.
And you know what? You're probably right 50% of the time.
Yeah.
And the thing was, before the Karen Reed trial, before the first Karen Reed trial and then the second Karen Reed trial, there was an uptick in anti-Karen Reed accounts right at like the week before leading into the trial. They all just I had blocked like 20 of them before that. All of a sudden, it's the week leading up to the first week of the trial. Like, they were all over my comments, every single one of them. Like, this has to be like the same. There has to be like a farm, someone farming accounts out there. And it's like, Mazza sucks. Switch account. F you, Mazza. MazzaMedia is responsible for all the world's problems. MazzaMedia's a moron.
Yes.
I just sent a message. I just responded. Kentucky Maverick is on here. He's like, speaking of great joy, block patrol. Kentucky Maverick, go to bed. Go to bed, man. Like, the guy drove, and I know he posted about it on X, so he wouldn't care. I'm saying he drove himself from Kentucky all the way to the Mayo Clinic to have all of these serious tests done. And he's like exhausted, and he's on I mean, it's nice that you're here, but boy, I give that guy a lot of credit. My gosh,
he is amazing.
He is amazing.
Everyone is praying for you and sending big hugs your way. So we know everything's going to turn out great and fantastic. So,
but I just had to be like your mom and tell you to go to bed.
KY Maverick.
You can catch it on the replay.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. It's just a wild saga from top to bottom. It's just amazing. You look at the people that are the opponents of Kelsey, and throughout all of it, you got Noonan, you got Justin, you got the judge, Kathleen McCarthy-Naiman. And it's just crazy to think that I can't even pinpoint the one that's actually the primary one, because they all have their place in this. It's like, the Karate Kid trilogy. He fights Johnny Lawrence in the first one, Chosen in the second one, Mike Burns in the third one. If you follow the Karate Kid, you know those names. If you don't, you're like, what is he talking about? What? Yeah, it's interesting just to say, like, how many people she's had to, tangle with at different levels of those things. Criminally, Noonan was the focus, family court. It's Justin, and then even when I was in court earlier, it was Kathleen McCarthy-Naiman was an absolute evil. She was like an evil queen in a Disney movie.
She really was. She's like Ursula or something.
Yeah.
The worst. The worst.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, and it's easy to forget all the things that have happened to Kelsey. You know what I mean? It's easy to forget, oh, she's not guilty, whatever. Like, just, I mean, what a effing, it hasn't even been a year. It hasn't even been a year since June 30th. If you add up all of the things that she's been put through, that's why I say, like, she's taken everything that's been thrown at her, and she's gotten stronger and stronger and stronger. And you could probably think of a good movie reference, Mazza, of like just somebody that's like just keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger with all the hits they're taking. And so I have no question at all about her mental capabilities, her physical capabilities at this point to just really kill it, and I mean in a good way, in terms of being a great mom. She's making lemonade out of lemons, you know what I mean? She's doing this whole Substack thing with the poetry. She's focusing on that. We've had some talks about actually Judge Erskine and I and Kelsey and her team doing some 209A reform stuff. And we want to get working on that kind of stuff. And she really wants to be like a justice warrior and like get in there and make lemonade out of her case, of what she was dealt, and be a voice for other moms that might be going through what she went through. I don't think anybody, she's had all the things, and I don't think anybody, I hope nobody has to go through all of the things like she has had to go through. But to say this woman is weak, give me a break. People, oh no.
Gotta love Jeno. Jeno takes no. Jeno doesn't stand for the Mazza hate online. I've seen her do it before too. Right. Like the worst people come, like the worst of the worst people that come after me. I always see Jeno as the one person that's in there tangled.
Yeah.
Like
you're like I can just stand back and watch this unfold, because this will be fun for me. Yeah.
Right. My bodyguard has it.
Yeah. I hit the love emojis a few times, blocked the person who said it, love emoji all the people that literally go through all the comments defending me, love emoji all of them, then say nothing. I love it. Yeah. Jeno's always got my back.
Yeah.
Love it.
You have a whole team behind you for sure.
I love it, yeah. Can we take this question, Lori? Do you think the ex parte judge, ex parte,
I love is going to call that.
Yeah. is going to call Just Tiller out about his lies?
So I assume when you're saying the ex parte judge, you mean Judge Ulwick, because they issued the ex parte order. And my answer to that question is no, because that's not going to come up. All right. It's just like that. The restraining order is over. That's not being contested. Kelsey's not getting involved in trying to question the things that were said on that restraining order. They're not going forward on that. And, quite frankly, a lot of what the lies are, I mean, a lot of it is some like he said, she said kind of stuff. And he would just say, well, that was his memory of it. You know what I mean? And then he's got some people to back him up. Oh, while I'm thinking about it, though, in terms of one of the lies that was doubled down on by his attorney, and I know Lauren probably caught this too, the ex-boyfriend.
Oh, I love him. He's Italian too.
Right?
Yes.
And he had the nerve to bring it up in both of his filings. Mazza, did you catch that? So, you remember Justin's attorney was talking about, these two ex-boyfriends, and they even say how crazy Kelsey was from years ago and this and that. Well, one of them, Minotti, I think.
Minotti,
Julie put in her memo that this person and Kelsey are still friends. And he has even messaged Justin to say, hey, dude, like, stop getting me involved in this. I don't have any problem with Kelsey.
Yeah. Multiple times.
Right. And has told Julie Hess that, like, if need be, he'll come and testify. So, like, that's like, the fact that you continue to put that falsely in a pleading, it's not like people are going to be sent to jail or anything like that, but it's like, it goes to your credibility, It
does.
Like, really,
it weakens your argument too. It's like you're grasping at anything you can get, but they're unfounded. And that just shows desperation, in my opinion.
Yeah. And like the suicide thing from when she was in high school, which she just, vehemently denies, which I don't blame her. And she's saying that didn't happen from like when he didn't know her, whatever, 10 years ago, 11 years ago. And it's just insane. There's no evidence of that. Like he's just saying these things. But I love the fact that there was that third party that came out and was like he's actually reached out to Justin and told Kelsey.
I wrote it down. So Mr. Minotti says on more than one occasion, he asked Justin to stop harassing him.
I love that. Wow.
Like, yes. Amazing.
Right. And that's what I love is like Kelsey's got the receipts, right? She's got the receipts, and he's got like Michelle Mabel over here, and she can't even really, she says things, but then can't really explain how they really did happen. And then she's not really sure about how it happened. And this whole thing about Kelsey going off into the woods is literally like a trail at the house they were staying at.
They were staying in the woods.
Yeah, they were staying in the woods. It's like, well, it's hard to, like, that'd be like me saying at my house, I have to walk through the woods to get to my mailbox. Okay, I'm walking in the woods, but like, just like, it's all just blown out of proportion. Is it a lie? No, it's not a lie. She was walking in the woods. I mean, but is it like, it's the intent of it. It's, the intent is not really accurate. And I think that's a big part of it. But no, I don't. I think that anybody that's thinking in this case, we're going to have a big calling out of Justin, or there's going to be some big climax that's going to happen at the end of all this, then maybe you don't want to stay tuned in, because it's probably going to be pretty boring. Because what's going to happen is Kelsey's going to get parenting time. It's going to get more and more parenting time. And then she's ultimately going to have her shared physical custody. And maybe at some point, potentially full custody. And by full custody, I just mean full physical custody would mean, he would have parenting time and she has the child more than he hasn't, but you're going to be looking at a co-parenting plan. So I don't really see this case going to trial based on how I've seen it going. I've seen the parties throwing a lot of darts at each other, but ultimately they are working it out. And then once it starts, once the parenting time starts, which is really all Kelsey wants. Kelsey doesn't want to spend more money on legal fees and have a trial to prove these things about Justin. She doesn't want that. She wants to just go on with her life and be Caidyn's mom. That's what she wants to do.
And what amazes me is that Justin's highest probability of outcome in all of this is joint custody. I don't think that a sole custody is going to ever happen. I think even if there was an opportunity, it's a lot weaker of an argument now than it was a month ago. And I don't think he has anything to really go on that's going to really move the needle beyond the fact that this is going to end up in joint custody. So it doesn't make I don't know who's advising him financially. I would not recommend this financial move to pay $10,000 to $30,000 in legal fees, just so basically a judge is going to say, well, it's joint custody, and now $30,000 is out of the window. There's so much you could do with $30,000. You could go to Dairy Queen every day at lunch and get an ice cream with a cheeseburger. You could go to Cancun. You could go to Hawaii. You could watch the Red Sox play at Fenway Park, or travel to watch the Red Sox play on the road. You could go to the beach every day all summer long. There's like so much you could do with $30,000. You could donate it to Kelsey Fitzsimmons. I mean, you could donate to Kelsey $30,000. But
like GiveSendGo.
It makes more sense just to be like, look, let's go with joint custody. That's it. I don't understand the financial benefit. If I'm thinking through his shoes, what am I getting for my financial investment? If I invest $30,000 in legal fees,
exactly,
there better be like $1 million payout in a civil suit. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about joint custody as the highest percentage chance of the outcome, and you're just spending $30,000 on something you could just. It's like Matt Damon saying, you spent $90,000, $150,000 on a Harvard education that you could have got for $19 in late fees at a local library. And the guy's like, well, I would have a degree. He was right about that degree part.
Yeah.
But kind of beat Matt Damon in that argument. But, the same thing is like, you're spending all this money when you can just be like, Kelsey, look, let's just do joint custody and call it a day.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, Mazza.
Yeah.
That comes up in my cases a lot of the times because I tell the clients this, I'm like, you're paying me for representation, but you're also paying me for my experience and my legal advice. And if I was representing Justin, I would be like, this is ultimately what's going to happen. We don't have to give in on every single point, but you want to be flexible and give in on these things because ultimately this is what's going to happen. And I've had clients like this before that are still like, well, no, I just, I want to go balls to the walls and I don't care. And I'm going to, okay. But you have a good chance of losing. One, I ask for a bigger retainer and be like, okay, well, I already know that this client one is going to be difficult. And two, that we're probably going to lose. So my chances of collecting my money after is going to be hotter because people think once they lose, it's my fault, even though I told them their case was a loser to begin with. Yeah. There's that problem. And I make them a lot of times, if it's something like that's concrete, like I'll make them sign something saying, I advised you this, that, and the other. And despite my advice, you have, proposed that you want me to do this, that, and that, as long as it's not unethical. I would never do something they're asking me to do that's unethical. But if they're like, yeah, no, I want to have a trial on this custody thing, even though a GAL report firmly said the other party should have custody or they should have split custody, and I know I'm going to lose, I make them sign something saying that I understand that, you advised me this way, so that they don't come back at me later and say, oh, what the hell? Like, why didn't I get my custody? Well, because I told you it wasn't going to happen. But, and I think that might be a little bit what's going on here because I forget where I saw it. Lauren's got a better memory than me because she's younger, lots younger. Where was it said something about, I'm trying to think of the, can you think of what it was I'm thinking of with about the hiring of this attorney? I think it was the mom. Justin's mom, Lisa, said to Officer Caidyn, oh, yeah, we've finally hired someone. We've met with a bunch of family law attorneys, and we finally found one we like.
Oh, I that must have slipped me. I don't remember that.
Yes, I remember.
Actually, I do recall that. No, I remember the comment, we found one we like. I do remember that.
One we like.
Anything else regarding that, I don't recall. But I remember that comment.
They found one they like, meaning... And because I say this I always tell people the honest truth. And you know what happens when I tell people the honest truth? I lose potential customers because people don't like to be told what they don't want to hear. Yeah. So, and I'm not playing that game anymore. I'm too old for that stuff. So I'm telling them, like, you got a loser here, but like, I'll help you out, and then they're like, oh, we're going to go to somebody that's going to tell us what we want to hear. Yep. And I think that's what they got with him. And he probably was like, oh yeah, we're going to be able to get this, that, and the other, and she's never going to see this baby again. And then like, oh, we finally found one we liked. So when you set your clients up with unreasonable expectations, it's hard to reel them back in after. And that may be a little bit about what's going on here,
Makes sense why they liked him after seeing him today in my mind. It makes sense.
To me, that's irresponsible lawyering, but
what would you know? You're just an ethical attorney, Lauren.
I know. Well, according to some of the trolls on Twitter, no, I'm not. One of them had the nerve to like even insult my orange sweatshirt this past week.
Oh my God. I saw that and I was like, I
was laughing. At first I didn't understand it. They're like, oh, look at you. I'm like, what? That was so funny. I find it funny. I don't care. It's like,
how dare you not wear Louis Vuitton when you're holding a sheep?
know, right?
What are you thinking? Unbelievable.
No, you dress for Halloween. It's like, I'm just trying not to get shot in the woods, silly girl. But my life is not that glamorous. Oh my God, so funny. But,
people are really, you're really upsetting people online when they're like, your orange sweater is terrible, Lori. It's like, what?
I know, right? And that's why I say it's like
they were comparing me to Jared Fogle from Subway.
Oh, yeah. Really?
The same people that think that Karen Reed did it were the same people who are saying I look like Jared Fogle from Subway. That doesn't tell you what a flawed view of reality these people have. If they think I look like Jared Fogle from Subway, they cannot be trusted to tell you that Karen Reed is guilty. Okay, that's the level of mind you do. You know what MazzaMedia looks like? He looks like that guy from Subway, Jared Fogle. What's
so funny? And they think you're going to be so outraged by this. Right. Nobody cares. It's like,
I actually shared some of the memes they made of me 2 years ago. I was actually like laughing at them, like,
yeah, it's hilarious. It's funny.
Yeah.
Like it's like I'm like whatever. Yeah. They're like, and then that person got mad that I didn't like that I didn't care about the insult of the hours. They're like, you need to worry about your ethics. I'm like, I'm not worried about that either. But like whatever. It's just funny. I don't care.
Some people that never lawyered a day in their life. Fine, never stepped foot in a law school, and they want to tell you about your ethics and what you're doing right or wrong. It's like, you never even been to law school. What are you talking about?
Well, yeah, and it's funny because the comment was kind of associated with a couple of other lawyers that have been saying things on, like, there's a few lawyers out there that do say some things that I would be like, wow, I would never, like,
oh, yeah.
I would like that kind of crosses the line of just completely being unprofessional, and I mean, I can kind of go on the line a little bit, but in terms of some of the things that are said by some of these people, I'm like, really? I'm not worried about my ethics. I'm okay. I'm all set,
Yeah.
I'll worry about me. You worry about you. How about
that? It's like,
exactly.
Okay. Honestly, but it's funny because they never call them out because it's the other side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, and they'll always out me, and it makes me laugh because they're like, who is this person? Because I'm a nobody. You guys are like bigger profiles than me. I'm just nobody. And they'll be like, who is this person coming and saying these things? Oh, she's some family law attorney. And then they'll post my picture and from my website, but like, and they make it seem like they're doxing me. I have my website linked on my profile page. It's like, wow, you guys should have hired common sense investigator, because like, how did you ever find that? Like, how did you find? I'm always been just me online. Like, I'm like, oh wow. But the sad thing is my picture is like 25 years old, so it is a little bit disappointing when people see me on your show, Mazza. They're like, that's not the lady from that picture.
Whatever. You look great, Lori.
Yeah. We love you, Lori. They're like, oh look. I did some Googling, and in my Googling, I found out that she has a law firm. Yeah, you can confirm she's an actual lawyer. So that's
she's just some family law attorney.
Yeah.
As you guys can see, family law is like, honestly, what's one of the things I love about family law, because I used to do civil litigation, and family law is one of the most interesting fields of law because we deal with so many different things. There's so many different aspects. And in my cases, I might be dealing with, you're dealing with custody, you're dealing with financial issues. And it's constantly changing, and it's just, it's a lot more interesting, let's say, than doing real estate law and whatnot. And you do have to have a good knowledge of all the laws and things like that. And you do get a lot more court time than in a lot of even civil litigation practice. There isn't that much court time anymore. It's mostly everything's filed by, motion, and you hardly ever even get hearings on it anymore. When I first was doing civil litigation, you would have hearings all the time, but that kind of went away too. So I like the family court work because of that. You get the court time, you get a lot of different interesting issues. It's not the same. Every case is different, has unique qualities to it, and it's a very interesting area of law. It's very high stress, and because your clients are always in a high state of conflict at all times, and they're very stressed out. But
it's the most dangerous type
you look
of law.
At Bradel and Courtney Healy.
She's a badass, guys. She's a badass.
Yeah, I try.
When you look at Bradel and Courtney Healy, just the emotional outpouring, and Bradel's leg is like, going 100,000 miles an hour.
I know.
It's like, Judge, would you just get to the end of your verdict? It's like, don't make me wait.
I know.
You know,
Courtney had to keep touching him, like kind of like stop, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He didn't even know he was doing it. It's just like, I was like that in that moment. I was like, you know, I can only imagine for him. Can you imagine? He's like, like this client's life is in his hands, and you know, it's
right.
Very,
you spend so much time with these people. You know, you see like Kelsey or Karen Reed. You know, Aiden Carney, you see these people day in and day out, trial after trial, hearing after hearing, and you're with them. You know that Kelsey has a true belief in what she's telling you. You've heard her story, you believe it, you can tell it's true, and then like the worst thing you want to see when you're next to this person now is that's the point where you stop becoming an attorney and you just basically defer to a human being that's watching it like everybody else in that moment. And it's out of your hands.
You get very invested, and and Kelsey's such a lovely person. So from him spending all of that time with her and, you know, everything that they had to do to prepare, how can you not, like, you know, and I don't mean this in a romantic way, how can you not fall in love with her? I mean, it's like that he had like a family, it's like she's a family member, and you know, and seeing everything that she had gone through, and himself feeling, even though he wasn't in any way responsible for it, because it was literally that psychotic person that did that. But I shouldn't say things like that maybe, but like, you know, the person that put her in jail was just, that was just craziness. And like no lawyer would ever have thought that that was going to happen. That had nothing to do with Tim Bradel. That had zero to do with Tim Bradel. You go in and you ask for modifications like that all the time. Like all she had to do is say no. All she had to do is say no, just no. And then you go home. Everybody goes home and she's still blowing in the scram. She hadn't violated. She really was hoping that she was going to catch her in a violation the day before when she went down to probation. And when she didn't have that behind, and that's what makes me wonder, what's going on here? Like, why were you so determined to try to find that? When she didn't have that, she was just waiting for a reason. She was sitting there during that hearing, just my opinion, waiting for a reason to say, well, I'll just send her back then, you know. In a million years, no one would have ever predicted that. And Bradel is a very experienced criminal defense attorney. There is no way that he ever predict like that. Nobody would have ever predicted that. So I think that kind of added to his angst of the whole thing, and his relationship with Kelsey, and his feeling of just needing to vindicate her. I mean, I think he did a fantastic job. I can't say enough about him. I think, and he's still doing the job for her.
He's an amazing human too. I mean,
the fact is, we thought this judge. We didn't think the judge could be any more evil, Judge Kathleen McCarthy name. And then you find out what Officer January had to say, and he's like, "Well, I have a story for you, Tim." And Tim basically ran right to the end zone for a touchdown with a ball spike, like he was Gronk with that one, and that changed the course of everything, because God forbid that judge had overseen the trial.
No, I know that. Oh. Yeah. And you know what? It was her ego and her cockiness that got her caught, because she thought there was nothing wrong with what she was doing, and had the nerve to file a complaint against the probation officer. Like, are you kidding me? Like, what? Like, that was, but you know what? There's a God in heaven, because that's all I can say. Because, you know, the fact that she thought there was no problem with that. How bizarre. How bizarre.
That tells me it's not the first time she's done that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You don't start off being that ballsy. You just don't.
Yeah.
Same way with Proctor. We all knew this isn't the first time things like that has happened. What is happening now? We're seeing it with other cases. Yeah. So it's only a matter of time. Sometimes the things in the dark do get brought to light. And I hope and pray that happens with McCarthy Naaman. Because
That's a huge statement. I agree with that. I think that's 100,000% true, Lauren, because it's just like these people have a pattern of this conduct. And what Proctor did, he did because he truly believed he could get away with it. The same goes to the Canton Police Department, which inherently extends itself to your opinion, not even opinion, basically assessment of the judge, that there's no way, oh, you mean to tell me this one particular case, this is the first time she's ever done this? It's like, you know, you just happen to get caught this time, and thank God it happened during this trial, because this was a divine time to happen. Because if if she ever got caught doing something wrong and it would impact the case that she was overseeing, this was the one we wanted to use that pass on. Yep. So we got it for the right trial. Because it changed everything.
Well, I mean, I think that I think both of you are absolutely right in that, like, you know, the behavior was probably there before, but there were a lot of eyes on Kelsey's case, and so it got called out. And normally, I don't think, but the fact that she had the audacity to then file a complaint against January, who seems to be a very well liked individual, by the way, seemed to be a very nice man, but really, you know, like, just talk about someone who has no perspective, you know, and that was her, because I don't know, like, I would have been crumbling up on the bench doing that to a young woman like that. You know?
Yeah,
just ridiculous. Seriously.
She works with this man.
She has had her child. Yeah.
She works with him all the time, like all the time. Right. So, I mean, what are you doing? Like, disgusting.
It's weird, you know. Yeah. I don't know.
Sick. So we're going to call it a night. It's been just about 2 hours on the dot. We're 58 seconds away from 2 hours. So my brain's starting to it's entered like its secondary power now in the last minute or two.
Gotta go plug the battery in.
It's like, bloop, it goes down.
Well, you've been nonstop, like, for the last couple of days too. So
yes, that's right.
You were right.
Yeah, and I heard that. I didn't get to see it last night, but I did see Audrey posted it on Facebook. I guess there were some audio issues.
Oh, it was awful. It was like an hour before. I was checking like an hour before, and it was horrible.
Right. Conveniently, there were some audio issues. And but Audrey, if anybody did miss it and they're not on Facebook, on the Justice for Kelsey Fitzsimmons page on Facebook, Audrey posted the transcript of what she did say at the meeting, because I'm sure they heard it, but we couldn't hear it. So that's posted today. And it was wonderful as usual, because, you know, she hit all the other points about the police chief stepping down and putting himself on paid administrative leave. Wouldn't we all love to be able to do that?
Oh, I know. Paid vacation. Disney World, here we come.
I mean, it's the summer. I think we should all put ourselves on paid administrative leave.
Yeah, why not?
I pay myself, so I wouldn't really make it.
I'll come back to work on September, the Monday after Labor Day or Tuesday after Labor Day.
I'm sure your employer would have no problem with that, Molly. You just let them know tomorrow.
Yeah, if he's watching, he'd be like, "You're going to be at work every day." He's like, "Plenty of work to do.
Don't bother coming back ever."
Yeah, exactly. It's like, "We'll see you tomorrow."
Exactly. Yes, it must be nice, but it's been wonderful spending the evening with you guys. Hopefully we can do this again soon.
Yes, it was very fun. Thank you for having me.
Definitely.
Absolutely, Lauren and Lori.
All right, I'm bouncing.
L&L.
Yeah.
Take care. Everyone have a great night.
Bye, guys. Love you guys.
Lauren, Common Sense Investigator, and Lori Mullen joining the show tonight. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Appreciate your time. Have a great night. There's a lot of shows on tonight, too, so tune into some of the other shows. Find a show you'd like to watch and tune into that. So from MazzaMedia, I'm Mark, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great night. Thank you to the mods, MJ, Jeno, Scott McGinnis, Lama Suze, that have all been here with us. If I'm missing anybody, I apologize. All the mods, thank you, mods. Thank you to each and every one of you, and have a great night. From MazzaMedia, I'm Mark. Take care, guys. Bye-bye. Take care now. Bye-bye-bye.